Good evening. You are listening to Capital Xtra and you've got Yinko with you. And I am joined by two lovely lads. It's Majid and Jordan. Hello.
How you doing?
How are you?
Great.
Amazing.
Yeah? So you just kind of just got to London, really?
Yes.
You're on your UK/European leg of your world tour, the Space Between tour, right?
That's right.
Are you excited?
Very. Yes.
Yeah?
Very, very excited. I mean, it's nice to be in the UK again, London, tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
And they love to sing and dance, and it's like a super fashionable crowd. So it's a blessing to be here.
I'm going to take that compliment on behalf of London, you know. Thank you. Thank
yes,
you.
You're welcome.
And whereabouts, because I know you were in Manchester,
Yes.
kicking it off. Whereabouts are you headed?
I think Birmingham is next after London. And then we're going into mainland Europe.
Okay.
Like Paris, Amsterdam, Prague, Brussels.
Cool, blimey.
all the way up to like Sweden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Sweden is absolutely gorgeous. Have you been before?
We did a show. That was one of our craziest shows ever. Yeah. We played. Where did we play? It was a beautiful place. I think it's like, apparently it was Quincy Jones goes there all the time. It's like his favorite.
I love a little bit of Quincy, especially, you know, the recent interviews that he's been doing. Yeah. I find them
and then
really
his daughters
hilarious.
made him apologize.
Yeah, I saw that. But to be fair, if you went on Twitter and your dad's on Moments saying all this reckless stuff, having no care, you'd be a bit like, Dad, calm it, please.
It's Quincy Jones. I'll let that man speak.
Yeah.
And you know, when you are preparing for a world tour, it does like, there's a lot, as opposed to like a domestic one, there's a lot go into it. Is it bigger production? Do you have to like sleep and hibernate beforehand because you know you're going to be tired on the road? Like, how do you prep?
I mean, I think at this point we got a great team.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's about pace, you know, like life is, you know. It's like we want to deliver the best show possible every night. That's really why we're on tour, and you know, we're making music when we're not on stage. So it's a balance, you know. And like Maj said, we have the best team, so we're able to. We're in Bahrain like 4 or 5 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Even
in the Middle East. Yeah. So like 3 days ago we were all the way from Toronto to Bahrain, and then Bahrain back to London. We just got into London this morning from Manchester. Pace. And I was just watching something funny today. It was like Michael Jackson explaining touring.
Yeah.
And in the interview, they're like filming him, and he goes, touring's so weird, you know, different time zones, you never get enough sleep, and then you're on stage, adrenaline is up, and then you're down, and then you're in the middle, and you don't really know what to do with yourself. And then the interviewer is like, or someone on his team is like, can we do that again? With you not saying like all the negative stuff about touring. And then Michael's just like sitting there, and he goes, all right, let's do it again. He's like, take 3, 2, 1. And he goes, you know, I love touring. I really love it. Next question.
No, but it must be exhausting though. Like, don't get me wrong, it must be
it's like
sick meeting new people.
Like he said, he explained it basically in that answer.
Yeah.
I thought that was really insightful. I didn't see it as something negative.
No.
I just thought, you know, okay, this is the human side of the you know, huge persona that he was. So
yeah,
it's like if you don't have that pace, then you're not doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
So it's like balance, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that like that's what I've been having these conversations recently. It's weird that you actually said that. I've been having these conversations about when people like put their artist on like a pedestal, or they put someone up so high up that they almost become not human. So then when it comes to like the human side of being an artist or being an idol or being a musician, people are like, well, why are you complaining? It's like, no, I'm not. If you worked in an office, you'd get tired at 5 o'clock, but you go home, reset, come back at 9. Whereas when you're touring, it's work. And even like the parties must seem like work after. Like
it's like those are, I guess, inevitable questions to people.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know, when people ask those to us, they kind of know their answer while they ask it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what would you think, you know?
Yeah. Before the interview, actually, I was looking for you guys' Twitter, and I was going to say that as artists go, I feel like you're one of the few who, it's like, I feel like, do you control the account?
yeah, Twitter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can tell because the inspirational things that you say, I don't feel like you got it like from Google or one of your publicists was like, oh, actually, it's a good time of day to say this.
Our
It's like,
research suggests that if you speak at this
between 11 and 1 p.m.
people are very responsive.
It's interesting because it's like, I feel like I use Instagram to show the people in my life where I am. And Twitter is really just for those good moments.
Yeah.
I just want to put good feelings out there and remind people, you know, because there's not enough reminders.
Yeah.
You know, like life is a crazy thing.
Yeah.
I feel like if I have a moment in my day that I feel positive, then, you know, I got to tell everybody.
But that's nice. It's nice to share that, especially, I think, maybe not just 2018, but the world as it is, you know, we're adults, we can see that. I don't know if there is more bad news, but we are definitely able to see a lot more of it at one time, because I'm here talking to you, but I could easily look at my phone or look at the TV screen. The radio could be on. It could be like the news channel or something, and there's always that negativity. So when you go online, not to say deny that negative things are happening.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you have the time to look at my timeline, it should be something good.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't want to add to it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting now, like Twitter, the new gen Twitter, there's this thing called moments.
Yeah.
And then it tries to, based on what you know or who you're following or what you've seen maybe even before or clicked on, it tells you, oh, this is what you should be focusing on. And I'm really like curious, who writes the headlines of these moments? Like, who is summarizing and taking a side on an event?
Yeah.
And then trying to persuade you to take that same side if it's a negative one. I don't get it.
Yeah. I find it all so odd. I try to be like as positive as possible online. Not necessarily like, oh, you know, you have to be this one way, but you know, just as positive as possible.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree with the moment thing. When it first started, I thought, oh, this is quite cool, because it's a little collection of tweets that I may have missed or I may have, you know, overlooked. And when they're all together, it's nice. But then more recently, it's like not propaganda, because I feel like I sound a bit mad.
I just feel like it's extremes. I feel like it's like something that's about to make you feel mad offended, or something that's mad offensive. And it's like, what do you think?
Exactly.
I was like, well, I mean, I wasn't even thinking about that this morning. I was like about to start my day and go see people that I care about, that I love, and just do that. And then you like open that by chance. So let's say you need to like go online or whatever, and then you're exposed to that, and then it has you thinking for the day. You're like, did I really have to see that or think about that? I'm not even I have no control over it right now in my life. I'm not involved in it. But at the same time, you know, Twitter is a tool for people to get their voices out, and I think that's very valuable. It's just all about how you use it. It's how you conduct yourself. And don't lose track of the fact that you are a real person too. And it's okay to feel bad sometimes, as long as you're not purposefully trying to make other people feel bad.
I think thankfully the internet is becoming less of an anonymous place. It's a good thing.
And people are being held.
It's your identity, so it's like you're not just a number. It's like if you want to see somebody's tweet, or you just type in the keyword, and it's like that's really your opinion. It's coming up in real time. You know, so it's not about followers or anything like that. It's about what you actually think. It's a representation of you.
And also like being accountable for what you say. Like I don't know if you guys, like in London anyway, there's been so many accounts in the last couple of months, or few months should I say, where people in the public eye, be it radio presenters or TV presenters or artists themselves, have said offensive things in the past, and then now they are like losing campaigns, or they're getting in trouble or fired or whatever for these offensive tweets. Like, what do you guys think of that? Do you think people should be held?
I mean, it's like a touchy subject, right?
It's a weird one, isn't it?
It's
just because every single situation is different. So it's like us talking about generalizing is adding to the problem. So I think, I think the scrutiny of each thing that happens is necessary. But definitely, like, you know, I don't really know where to start on that, because it really depends on what we're talking about.
Different.
Are we trying to,
you know, so
are we trying to like rehabilitate if somebody makes a mistake, or are we trying to attack? You know, I'm all about like trying to fix the problem, as opposed to like
witch hunt.
Not even just witch hunt, like this is an unfixable problem. And you know, in some cases, some problems take longer to fix, and some problems may seem like there's no end in sight, but we have to just like keep in mind, okay, rehabilitation process. This is what went wrong. This is what you did. Understand that. Once you do, we can have a conversation. But the possibility of a conversation is there, as opposed to like, we're never going to speak again. That's a sad thing. It happens a lot in life outside of Twitter, you know, even amongst family and stuff like that. So I hope that, you know, people are held accountable, but at the same time, they eventually find a way to understand what they did and can articulate it.
Yeah.
Because people can apologize the correct way. They can come back from mistakes if they choose to dedicate themselves to that recovery.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel I took us on like a deep tangent. You came in to talk about your tour, and I'm like, yeah. So anyway, as I was saying, but you know, because you two are together, you know, you have like joint accounts and stuff like that. So I guess it could be like a little bit easier for y'all because you can get an instant opinion.
You know, like we're very thankful to have Majid.
But we make mistakes too. We're humans. Who knows, man? Like sometimes you say the wrong thing. Sometimes, you know.
That's actually a beautiful idea. Maybe people should share accounts because it allows you to bounce your ideas before you really hit the world.
Yeah.
You know?
And especially because everything, maybe not everything, but many more things seem to hold a lot more weight nowadays. Like I don't really see, you know, tweets or statuses or whatever it is as throwaway statements. It's like things seem to have been thought out. So when it goes wrong, if only there was somebody there to be like, oh.
It's still touchy, you know?
Yeah.
And
like,
things move so quickly too. Like this could be the thing today, and then in a week it's like,
definitely.
You know, this is the thing this week. And
like, at the end of the day, we're artists who make music.
Twitter for us is like a secondary afterthought. You know, we're not out there trying to be like, okay, I'm going to give you my viewpoint on this. Like, we got homies and family and people to bounce ideas off of that for. Not like
it's like not even trying to preach either. You know, it's like. We just want people to feel good.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hopefully we don't get to a point where it's like even that is scrutinized.
Yeah.
You know, so we have hope.
That's what this tour is about as well.
Yeah, because I was going to say that I saw about, you know, it's about like sharing the love, and if you have something to give, you should always sort of like, you know, give that as a gift.
Yeah, this one artist, he's like, I think he's originally French, but he like tours a lot in South America, Manu Chao, and he was talking about how it's like group therapy. People go into shows and come in to see him, and they're all sharing the space and that moment in time and that mood. So it's just cool to look at it like that. We're able to just all be in a room together, share that, and then leave hopefully feeling better for it.
Yeah. I actually saw you guys perform live. I was in Canada, and it was such a long time ago, but I remember I went by myself to the gig because, you know, when you're trying to find mates to go, and I was already on holiday, and everyone was just being a bit long. So I went by myself, and that was the first time I'd ever gone to like a live show alone. Like I don't really go to like the cinema or dinner or before that point I'd never gone to experience something by myself. Now I'm like, you know, table for one and all that stuff, but I'd never. So seeing you two live is so sick because I feel like if you have never seen you don't actually know what to expect, because I feel like your music is very eclectic. So if somebody was to have no idea who you are and then like rock up to your London show tomorrow, what would you tell them to expect?
I think it's, you know, I like the word audiovisual. You know, I feel like you know, as musicians, we're understanding more about different senses, and one of them definitely is visual. You know, so I think they should expect something that is very true to ourselves, something that hopefully speaks to people, something that breaks the barrier and shows our vulnerable side in our artistry. And at the end of the day, we're just happy with this production. You know, like we put a lot of work into it, and we have a great team, and we have people behind us that are real professionals at what they do. So I love looking at it like that, because then it's like, you know, there's the second tour. I'm already thinking about the third one.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, it's beautiful. It's like, this is a slice of where we are right now.
Yeah, and it's always like growing and evolving.
Exactly. Like if something to expect is a growth. Mm-hmm. If you've seen it before, you'll see it. If you haven't, then you'll see it at the stage that it's at. Mm-hmm. And also, I think you'll realize how interactive the show is. You know, we love sharing, singing with people, letting like that moment hit them where they realize, oh, you know these lyrics, I know these lyrics, we all know these, we're all singing every single word of this song. They can expect that too.
Does it get like overwhelming sometimes if people are singing like what you wrote back to you?
It's beautiful, yeah. I mean, when we just played in Bahrain, it was crazy to see the amount of kids singing everything and like hands up, and like, you know, I represent for my country because that's where I grew up. Not a lot of people understand that region. You know, they have ideas about it, but I just want to be a good role model for kids back there, you know, and show them that if you dedicate yourself to something, you'll discover something that you might be good at eventually, and then put your heart and soul into it, and it could be special just for you, whatever it may be, teaching, sports, whatever, anything like that. You know, I want to keep bringing that idea and keep bringing also people like Jordan from this side of the world over there too. Yeah. And just keep building the bridges like that.
I guess it shows like how much more alike we are than different.
Definitely.
Because it's so weird. I grew up in a mixed sort of like cultured household. So my dad's Nigerian and my mum's Irish, and my dad is.
My mum is Irish too.
Is she?
Yeah.
Big ups.
Big ups.
And my dad's Muslim and my mum's Catholic, and people never understood how that would work.
My parents as well.
And they you know when people just don't get it, they just didn't understand at all whatsoever. And it's like, but when you stop thinking, oh, have this tradition, you have this tradition.
It's like best of both worlds.
Yeah, it's like it can be so beautiful because we've now grown up appreciating the full 360 of being like human, as opposed to, oh, actually, no, I'm half this and half that. Especially growing up when neither of my parents were born. Yeah. So it's like teaching them about this while they're teaching us about their culture.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
Like my mom even, she's Irish, but she moved to Bahrain when she was 21.
Yeah.
And she's just like more Bahraini than I am. She's lived there longer than I have. She goes hard for like Bahrain. She's always like, this is my home. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's all about what you're attached to, what you want to push, you know, and if you want to push togetherness, it's gonna come through.
You know, when you are touring, because I know that you guys have got quite a long stretch ahead of you. Yeah. Do you have time to sort of like go back and create as well in between shows? Or is it?
Yeah, I mean, we have like a little studio set up on a bus right now.
It's always I like to add to the show while the show is going on.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I love it just because like I feel like you know, it's like some people say with music, it's like if it doesn't make me feel something, it's not gonna make people feel something. So it's like as soon as I feel like it's like getting a little stale, or you know, we could change this up. It's like I'll work on the bus, just headphones. You know, I keep it very simple. I keep it limited, just so I never.
And a lot of the time, he just does it, and then I show up to like a sound check, and he's like playing something new. I'm like, what the hell is
but that keeps it
but
like
it's sick.
fresh.
It's amazing. It does, and it like even inspires me to try some new stuff. You know, it's
exactly.
cool.
And then from that, we can write records out of that. You know, like we've actually made. Like several songs from just rehearsals, from just like improv jam sessions, you know, and then like it's really up to you. You know, there's a little bit of self-discipline, but I mean, I love what I do.
The dream is to like set up a live recording performance area that you could record, and eventually becomes the record. You know?
That's sick.
That's the dream right now for us. We're building studios at the moment, but if we could build like a little complex where that existed as well, then that's what we're aiming towards. Because I think that music should be fluid and just one take.
Yeah.
Communication
should be almost
whoever's
like
involved.
Twitter, you know? It's like, imagine a room like this, and you can just hook up to one of the stations and you add your part, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like that's the way music is going to go.
I think that it's such a cool idea as well, because, you know, especially when people are doing multiple dates in multiple cities, it can get so monotonous if you're doing the same, like, set list exactly the same way. And I also think for like viewing pleasure as well, because a lot of people like follow bands on tour, don't they? Or even, you know, videos of people like, you know, recording you while you're there, and even the energy that you give, if there's like, you know, a little bits of different flavor, or you switch it up every now and then, the last day of the tour could feel like the first day of the tour, because it's always it's always fresh.
Exactly.
And like we put different songs in the set depending where we are, you know, how we're feeling, like what speaks to us in that environment, you know. So that helps too. I mean, eventually we'll hopefully like be in the area where, you know, Jordan will be almost like the music director, and be able to add the sonics that are our sound essentially, but then be able to direct musicians to play very specific parts, and then be able to play more and more into that and just dissect everything. It'll be crazy.
Yeah.
Posing is like it's like one of my hobbies, you know. I like kind of directing a room.
Yeah.
Producing it.
And you've spoke a lot about Bahrain and how much you love performing there. Where is your favourite place to perform?
I mean, I love Toronto. You know, it's crazy. But I mean, Bahrain was amazing. You know, that was really a real moment for me. You know, I can only imagine how it felt for Maj, but I got very emotional. Like there was a few times on stage where I was just like I didn't believe it. You know, like seeing everybody's phones and just like realizing like, you know, we're back in his home, and I feel like I'm at home. You know, so it's like I love playing in Toronto, I love playing in Bahrain, and that's a blessing for me to say right now.
Yeah.
And it's very surreal to say it in the UK. So, you know.
Yeah, it's like
we love playing in London too. So it's
hello.
You guys love to sing.
Yeah, we love.
Yeah,
don't get it twisted.
I've got to warm up.
We love.
I'm trying to warm up my vocal cords for tomorrow, and I'm like, I guess I gotta go to Toronto.
That was the lead up to.
Yeah.
But my favorite is obviously London.
Obviously London.
Obviously.
Bringing the heat.
The capital. On Capital Xtra.
Oh, nice. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. And the music scene in London actually is getting a lot of eyes globally recently, which is very exciting for us. I actually remember when I first started at Capital Xtra and we didn't play that much UK music, and now it's like, I think it's like 80-20 for the ratio of UK music that we're
Do you
playing.
guys have a rule where you have to play a certain amount?
No.
There should be, I think.
To be honest, you know, now it's like we play a lot and we champion a lot of UK artists, and it's so much easier when the pool is so like lively and there's so much to pick from, so many different genres. It was quite difficult for a few years because a lot of, you know, the music that sort of like stays close to my heart wasn't getting that the breakthrough push, if you know what I mean. Like grime, R&B, hip hop has always been here, but it's always been very much underground, and only like in the last, I'm going to be generous and say 5 years, because you may have seen it in the last 2, but the work behind the scenes. So in the last like 5 years, it's really had a big push, and you've got artists who, you know, were doing very naughty things like 7 years ago, getting #1 albums and going platinum with albums and stuff like that. And I was wondering if there is anyone from the UK that you guys look at and think, oh, all right.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking earlier. We just heard Wiley got an MBE.
Yes, he did. He looked freezing in those pictures, though. It was snowing, and they made him take his jacket off.
They did?
Yeah. And he was like, I've got hypothermia.
Why would they do that to Wiley?
Because they don't respect him. No, it's because you have to have like your suit on with the...
with
like
the
an official picture that you have to take outside the...
Well, I mean, that's amazing, right? That's a huge thing. We look up to him, definitely. And Stormzy as well, and what he does and like what he represents. We were just talking about this literally like an hour ago. Yeah. Skepta, fashion sounds crazy.
Yeah. And the cover of GQ with Naomi Campbell was very, very saucy.
Yeah, he's so stylish. Jay Huss had a crazy year too.
Yes.
Giggs is actually really tight with a lot of the guys from OVO.
Yeah.
And everybody speaks so highly of him. Great personality, really approachable, friendly dude, but like super talented and goes hard in the studio, works nonstop. So that's cool too. What else? I mean, we were always inspired by people like Fortet, Jamie XX, so many artists from the UK.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, you said it was like an underground movement at a time, but I think those moments should be cherished, because once it does break into the mainstream, the roots are so strong, and there's such a dedication that it will withstand that breakthrough. You know, sometimes when you go through the atmosphere, things burn and fall apart.
Yeah.
Whereas this is going to the next. It's going out of here. You know, it's gone. So it's cool.
Yeah, growing up, it was like listening to those guys.
Yeah.
Like Hypered Up records.
Yeah.
Even like the Streets were really big in Canada.
Yeah.
The Streets were big in Canada.
Were massive in Canada.
Yeah. Amazing. So talented.
I always found that so random.
Yeah.
I found that so random.
I don't actually, because in Canada there was a big UK influence. Like they listened to a lot of jungle as well, and they listened to a lot of
jungle was like a
real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a real moment in time. Like all the big clubs, that's what they would play.
Yeah.
And then it turned to like just that rave culture and everything. So I feel like just the rawness of the streets, and just the storytelling aspect of it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Canada, the slang and the language is not it's far removed from the UK.
Yeah, because I understand you guys when you talk.
They say mum too in Canada. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting to see how there's always been that connection. And Bahrain, where I grew up, it was like on the radio, it was mostly UK top 40.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. So.
Yeah. That is cool, actually. Well, I want to thank you guys for sitting down and chatting with me. Good luck on your tour as well, and hopefully I get to see you soon. So thank you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you.